I love Minority Report.
It's one of my favorite movies ever, and if there's one thing you could take away from this video, it's how much I love Minority Report. But if there's two things you could take away, it should be, well, the rest of the video where I explain why you should love Minority Report. But it's garnered little to no recognition or attention in pop culture. It did fine despite it being another masterpiece from Spielberg, and it's talked about far less than other of his works like Raiders of the Lost Ark, and I feel like an outlier in my belief that it's a masterpiece. To that I ask, why? Why? I'll share my side if you share yours. Minority Report belongs to one of my favorite subgenres, which is where you take a movie premise from another movie, like Castaway or Groundhog Day, and add some crazy sci-fi concept to it. Like being stranded on Mars instead of an island, or the time loop being inside of an alien invasion. Minority Report takes its inspiration from The Fugitive and adds the concept of pre-crime and a dystopian future to it. Minority Report follows John Anderton, who is the captain of a police unit known as Pre-Crime, which uses the visions of psychics to track down murders before they happen. The opening is great. We have an idea of everything that's going to happen in it, and it establishes every vital concept so well, both through exposition with Danny Whitworth's investigations of pre-crime and the opening mission, where you get to see how murder cases actually function. It also introduces the moral dilemma of Minority Report, the ethics of imprisoning a man for a crime that they have not yet committed. So yeah, one of the best openings to put what is quite frankly a lot of information into a little time. The way Pre-Crime handles the murder cases is also very entertaining and might be my favorite part of the film. We also learn that Anderton is a very broken man. He's addicted to futuristic drugs, and his son was taken from him. So it's great that they play with how much sympathy Anderton gets, because he is later predicted to murder a man he's never heard of, Leo Crow. Believing he's innocent, he runs from his own comrades, which is another great twist on The Fugitive, with Danny Whitworth as the Fed tracking him down. Farrell doesn't meet Tommy Lee Jones' levels as Whitworth, but he serves his role nicely. John evades capture until the time of the murder, surviving a few great action scenes and kidnapping a precog to try and prove his innocence. And in a great shock to everyone, John actually commits the murder, the first in 6 years. This turns the movie on its head for a time, and we eventually find out that he was set up, and he tracks down the person that set him up, Lamar, who was a friend of Anderton, and invented pre-crime. So he knows a way to exploit the precogs into committing murders himself without consequences, which is a nice surprise to me, but looking back it's quite obvious. Seidel was born to play an evil rich guy, and he does it quite well. A prediction comes in, indicating that Lamar will kill Anderton. Anderton states that if he kills him, he will go to jail, but pre-crime will work. And if he is spared, pre-crime will be shut down. There is no decision. The flaws of pre-crime are put on display, and pre-crime is shut down, and pardons are given to any prisoners. The perfect ending. I love The Fugitive and am ultimately a sucker for any thriller where a character is framed and have to go on the run while breaking so many more laws to prove that they haven't broken one. But the thing that takes Minority Report to another level for me is how it feels so real. You can pretend we're going to end up in some Star Trek type utopian future where money is irrelevant and life is just sunshine and roses, but you cannot deny that the future Minority Report presents is far worse and a bit more realistic. We've already seen the start of some concepts from Minority Report, like invasive advertisements and invasions of privacy, and some of the technology, like the self-driving cars and touchscreens, are starting to become a reality only 20 years later. That technology is put to great use in Minority Report, in the sense that this movie would not be the same if it was set in any time period outside of the dystopian future Minority Report presents. So many concepts like identification, the precogs, and the spiders are used to the umpteenth degree. Like this cool stick could just be a normal baton, or the sonic shotgun could just be a gun. And even the ident tech, which is probably my favorite concept in a movie of great concepts, could just be like normal security cameras, but there are no batons or security cameras in Minority Report, and I think that's a great thing. The movie is also super unpredictable. There's a really great twist villain in here with Max von Sydow's character, and the way the mystery unravels and unfolds is just perfect. This being my third time through, I knew what was going to happen, but was still swept in and even caught off guard by some jump scares. This is probably one of Spielberg's more dark, gritty, and intense movies, especially of his blockbuster outings, which is surprising coming from Spielberg in the summer, but it serves the film nicely. Like Minority Report wouldn't work in the tone of E.T. or even something like Raiders, but even though there were some genuinely funny moments, the tone is still incredibly dark. It's also one of his more crazy looking films, which doesn't really look that good. The lighting is really bright and harsh, almost bleach really, to the point of looking like a black and white movie at times, and that is intentional. That's intentional because it gives a lot more weight to the scenes with real color, like the devastating scene where John Anderton's son is kidnapped. I didn't really like the bleaching the first time I saw it, but looking back it adds a lot, making this world feel lived in and adds to the overwhelming dystopian setting of 2054 Washington, D.C. And these effects aren't great, but I could deal with them. Tom Cruise plays John Anderton with such intensity. You believe that he's addicted to drugs. You believe the loss of his son, which is really refreshing for a Tom Cruise role, because it seems a lot of the time he plays Mr. America, which would fit in with this movie, but I only really like that role when he's like jumping off buildings and staying underwater for 5 minutes. The rest of the performances are fine. Nothing too special, but nothing horrible. The score doesn't really fit the movie, and I was hoping for something a bit more realistic, like Oblivion. But there's one piece called Spiders that really adds a lot to the film, and is almost reminiscent of the Jaws theme, the way it builds up and instills fear. And guess what? It's John Williams. The scene that accompanies it is also great. It's this lovely long take that shows how the civilians of this world just have to deal with the government intrusion. I also love the themes of free will here, especially the scene where Anderton does kill Crow. It's so heart-wrenching, and it's probably the point where I go from thinking that this is a great movie to this is a masterpiece.
Anyways, Minority Report, what do you guys think? You already know it's one of my favorites, but what about you? And if you liked this video, be sure to drop a like. It's much appreciated, it helps me get out there, and it helps you share this video with people like you. Thank you.